The Arizona Cardinals facing a very stormy future in the Valley of the Sun there, the scene of Super Bowl 57 in that stadium they play in, but they will, of course, not be part of it. They didn't make the playoffs, but the Cardinals continue to search for a new head coach. They have a new GM, and they are expected to hold a going out of business sale. If you would like to get someone from the Cardinals, make an offer. Everything must go at a discount price. Now, we talked about this a couple of weeks back, and it's popped back up on our radar. The future, the very curious future of receiver DeAndre Hopkins. He is a prime candidate to be traded. Now, if you've not been following the scuttlebutt around the NFL, probably not. You're not a radio host. What do you care about this stuff? So the chatter is this. There are two teams that are said to be out in front in this horse race, but it's early on in the horse race. Got a long way to go. So the two teams are the Baltimore Ravens and the New England Patriots. They are considered the front runners in a hypothetical trade for Hopkins and his services for the 2023 regular season. So let us discuss. Toss-up question. Better fit for DeAndre Hopkins in a trade, the Patriots or the Ravens? You can only have one, and the arrow is pointing the direction of the clam chowder. That's the answer right there. So I've got Amazon, Campfire, and Monet, and we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make the baba ganoush is what we're going to make, just in time for the big game this weekend. So number one. So the Ravens are not the answer. Baltimore is a squabbling with Lamar Jackson, and even if they keep Lamar, it's very unlikely that will be a long-term contract. That will most likely be the franchise tag unless Lamar pulls a power play and forces his way out of Maryland. But either way, that's a freak show. Even if you have Lamar Jackson, that offense, assuming it's the same offense, even though they changed coordinators, not designed to have receivers flourish. That is where receivers go to die, the Ravens' current offense. DeAndre Hopkins does make sense with the Patriots. He can get some elbow room there. The Patriots are devoid of elite playmakers. They don't exist. New England has been a wasteland for game breakers for many, many years. You got back Randy Moss, Wes Welker. Gronkowski. Rob Gronkowski hasn't walked through that door in a while, and neither has Julian Edelman. New England has a lot of flotsam and jetsam at the wideout position. And you look at that depth chart, and your eyeballs pop out. You see names like Devontae Parker, Nelson Aguilar, Jacoby Myers, and they're the leaders. And it's like getting a box from Amazon, and you're all excited. What's in the box? And then you open up the box, and it's filled with nothing but foam packing peanuts. You're kind of bummed out, right? That's the whiteout position. Now, it also hurts that Mac Jones, keeping up with the Joneses, what's bugging Mac Jones? Well, he does not elevate the players around him. He has been exposed here as the epitome of a ham and egger. So if you have a ham and egger, a very ordinary quarterback like Mac Jones, solid but unspectacular, then you have to get players who are elite. Otherwise, you're just going to get standard, generic results as the Patriots got on offense last year. So enter DeAndre Hopkins, who has shown he can play with quarterbacks that are tarnished, like the creepy quarterback Deshaun Watson and alligator arms Kyler Murray. Well, Hopkins was able to put up a Hall of Fame resume. And of course, those guys, Watson and Murray, the only gold jacket they will be getting is if they sell real estate at Century 21. That's the only way they'll get that gold jacket. Now, page 2. All right, page 2. Former Texans coach Bill O'Brien has entered the chat. We talked about this in a previous hour of the show, but we'll bring it back right now. Bill O'Brien, the new offensive coordinator, what is old is new again. Bill O'Brien hired back to New England. as the offensive guru for the Pats in 2023 and beyond. Now, it is interesting to note that Bill O'Brien, who is buddy-buddy with Bill Belichick, but also buddy-buddy with Tom Brady. So would Tom Brady go back to the Patriots because Bill O'Brien's back there and that's a friendly face? But if you look at the wide receiver, the topic at hand, DeAndre Hopkins, back in Houston, DeAndre Hopkins was at loggerheads with Bill O'Brien. And so that squabbling over a contract, it's always about the money. Follow the money, right? Jump into the money pit. And so there was a disagreement with the Texans about the contract. You don't remember. And that led to the trade with the Cardinals. And there was bad blood between Hopkins and Bill O'Brien, who was the czar of everything for the Texans. And that has caused many a football pundit to connect the dots and speculate that Hopkins is not going to go to the Patriots, that Bill O'Brien ending up with the Patriots has torpedoed the deal. So the question here is, does Bill O'Brien popping his head up in the Patriot facility, does that eliminate the Patriots from the DeAndre Hopkins sweepstakes? So I'm shaking my head no on this, and I believe that. I'll tell you why. Because the Patriots have the silver bullet. And when you have the silver bullet, you got a shot. They have a very magical solution to a complicated problem. And while Bill O'Brien and DeAndre Hopkins are not buddy-buddy, you know who is buddy-buddy? Bill Belichick, the grand poobah of the Patriots, and DeAndre Hopkins. And it's Belichick's way or the highway. Belichick, what is my evidence? He has been caught on NFL films, cameras, whispering sweet nothings into the eardrums of DeAndre Hopkins. And it was a mutual admiration society. And that clip, which is still bouncing around, you can find it on your social media, all they need to get this deal done is a nice candlelight dinner, right? And DeAndre Hopkins, I mean, the video is like you had love music in the background there. It was crazy. Now, my experience here, it's all about the Benjamins. As long as I've been doing this job, just thinking out loud here, there's two things that receivers want. Universally, they want money and they want the damn ball. They want targets. And as long as they get the money and they get the targets, they will be happy as a clam, right? Oh, my God, they're so happy. So if the Patriots entice Hopkins with a little more money, that's the hard part. See, the hard part's not O'Brien. The hard part's getting Robert Kraft to spend a little extra money because he's a tightwad. But to get him to spend a little extra money for Hopkins, one of those jumbo-sized bags and a flotilla of targets, then Hopkins and Bill O'Brien will sit around the campfire. They'll pass around the peace pipe, and they'll sing Kumbaya, and they'll roast marshmallows together. O'Brien can always blame ownership and say, oh, I really wanted you, but the owner of the Texans is the bad guy. And that'll be your scapegoat. And he didn't want to pay you, but I wanted to pay you. And you can bury the hatchet. All right, final point. So what kind of value does DeAndre Hopkins have on the trade market? Something that we will revisit as teams attempt to move mountains to get him. So based on a minutes-long investigation, I have determined that Hopkins, the perception of Hopkins and the reality of what he's going to get are two totally different worlds, that he is overvalued in the social media world, right? Overvalued. NFL mathematics, it's complicated arithmetic. It's algebra. And Hopkins, right? DeAndre Hopkins, while he has certainly been an elite receiver, he was not last year. He missed a big chunk of time with the steroids, and then he got hurt, allegedly, when he came back. Might have been a wild card strike. He was also at throats with the little quarterback of the Cardinals, Kyler Murray. So the way you look at DeAndre Hopkins, he's like a Monet. He looks actually better from a distance. That it's a bit of an optical illusion. Now, would I take Hopkins on my team? Sure. But not as good up close. Like, because up close, you see all the flaws and all the imperfections and all that during the course of your investigation. DeAndre Hopkins is teetering on the brink of his athletic prime. but he's only 30 years old. Well, life comes at you fast in the NFL. He's also making the top dollar. He's got the baggage from the steroid stuff, limited shelf life. So that means that you can get DeAndre Hopkins for essentially a song and a dance. DeAndre Hopkins is worth at most a third-round pick. The Patriots, they could attempt to finagle Hopkins for less than that, but New England could flip. They have the 77th pick, which is from Carolina. They also have a bunch of fourth-round picks, including one from the Rams that they have. So there's plenty of those type of draft picks the Rams can, or the Patriots can unload. They could give that Rams pick or the Carolina pick and get DeAndre Hopkins. The money thing, that's the hard part. The money thing is the hard part in that arithmetic.